Yes, absolutely.
It sounds like you don't have to work with a lot of people. I'd love that.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Yes Have Some podcast. My name is Craig Goldberg. Thank you so much for being here for another round of discussing, I think, some pretty good movies, or at least one really good movie. We're going to get into it tonight. We're going to be breaking down MaXXXine, the third in the, is it the X trilogy? Is that how they refer it? Is that what they call it? The
Ty West's trilogy.
The Ty West X trilogy. Mm-hmm. I like this. I want all of my trilogies to put out all three movies within like a year. Just get them out, get it ready to roll. We're going to break it down.
Yeah.
But first of all, I'm going to introduce my co-hosts. Abigail Gardner, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. It's hot as heck outside, but I enjoy the air conditioning and sitting indoors and watching stuff during this time of year.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
I've been enjoying that.
Jacob, how are you?
The same. It's very hot. I don't want to move. All I want to do is sleep when it's this hot. I just want to go to sleep and wake up when it's not hot anymore.
Okay.
Is there like a pill for that? That will just let me sleep for 6 months?
Like a day sleep? We should hibernate.
Yeah, like reverse hibernate. Like hibernate during the heat and wake up.
Yeah, we'll have a YHS hibernation.
Wait, is that why people don't like see the Bear? Did they do like some weird, like, it's weird that the guy just hibernated for like 8 episodes, like some weird like prestige TV. Because that
he turns into a bear by season 3.
He becomes an actual bear.
They just got really literal. I didn't like that.
Well, welcome to the show, everybody. I'm excited. I don't even want to like beat around the bush. And listen, you know what? There wasn't a lot in this movie. In fact, Abby, do you remember what I said to you right before the movie started? It made you laugh really hard? Because I remember.
It was something about wanting to see some.
Yeah.
What did you say? Some beauties?
Right when the credits were about to start, I looked over and I said, do you think there'll be any nudie scenes? And it was just for me.
Yeah, actually, not to spoil things, but there wasn't.
It wasn't like...
I was about to say, I don't think there was.
It really wasn't.
Yeah.
And that's a bummer. But let's get into it. So, Jacob, I want to start with you. I know you were really looking forward to this movie. For context, This is the third movie that started with the movie X, which I love in this movie. They've named the events of that movie as the Texas Porn Star Massacre, which is what that movie was.
They could have that could have just been the title of that. But right. I guarantee you at some point he was like thinking about making that the title of the movie before he changed it to X.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like the spiritual name for sure.
We should probably say we're going to get into major spoilers for all these movies. So if you haven't watched them, go watch those movies, X, Pearl, and MaXXXine, then come back. And then a little bit later on, maybe we'll get into some of our other favorite sequels. There was a cool Hollywood Reporter article this week about the best sequels of the last 20 years.
I'm going to butt in really quick. I don't think I'd label that article as cool.
Yeah, it was a really cool.
It's not very good.
They're like, here are some sequels.
That's just,
some of them were good.
Here are the best sequels of the last 20 years, and then it's Fast and the Furious, Avatar.
5.
It's all bullshit.
Well, we're gonna get into it.
Avatar: Way of Water. Somebody's paying for that. Like that was not an organic.
You know who's paying for it? Everybody who watched it.
We are.
Everybody who watched that movie is really.
I literally think I know one person who watched it and likes Avatar.
One time, I've told the story. One time, Abby was on a plane and she called me. She was like, "Hey, I was on the plane and guy next to me was watching Avatar. I really want to watch that again." I was like, don't be, just because the guy on the plane was enjoying Avatar.
I was enjoying the fact that I could watch something that I hadn't paid for, because this was a while ago. So I was like sitting in my seat, like kind of doing one of those.
Yeah.
So yeah. I was more excited about stealing a movie.
But before we visually stealing it, before we get into it, Jacob, I mean, you are the biggest horror fan I know. I know there's been tons of hype about Ty West as kind of this like up and coming new horror director who's made a huge impact with the first couple movies. So what was like your anticipation going into the third of this trilogy?
Well, I mean, I think X, the first movie, that movie's great. I've seen it a few times now, and I think he kind of like came out hot with that movie, and it's really, really well done. Everything about that movie is great. And, I was really excited to see Pearl. I didn't like Pearl as much. I think it's a good movie, but it's my least favorite of the three. When the trailer for this came out, I was like, oh, that looks more like X to me. It feels more like X. And from the first trailer, all of the visuals, like all the 80s stuff, everything you're seeing in the trailer, I was like, I'm going to love it. I know I'm going to like this movie. I know I am. So I was really, really hyped up for it. I was really excited to go see it. Saw it. We all saw it the night it came out.
Opening night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. It did pretty well. I mean, these are lower budget movies, but I think it made 6 or 7 million this weekend. So Abby, what was your hype? I know you are a MaXXine Minx Mia Goth fanatic at this point. Is this a true statement?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like when people ask me, like who don't know me very well, like what are some of your favorite movies? X is always one that I bring up as being like, because for some reason I feel like not everybody's seen it, and it kind of went under the radar and potentially COVID affected things. I don't really remember. All I know is that when I bring it up, a lot of people haven't seen it. And when I describe it, I'm like, it's just fucking awesome. Like in the way that I love Tarantino movies, I love X. Like I love seeing the group of people get together to go make a porn on a farm in a way that like they're kind of being sneaky about it, but then unlocking like the monster within the house and watching all that spill out and play out, kind of like Texas Chainsaw, but with like delicate touches of love and like examining the aging process and like there's like soft, sweet moments, like when I can't remember the actress's name who is singing the Fleetwood Mac song.
Oh, right.
Landslide. And I'm just like, you can slow down and appreciate not only that music, but
Brittany
like
Snow.
Yeah, kind of the examination of like how women treat other women and like all this other stuff and like judgment and more than anything, just fucking awesome kills set to great music, which is the thing that makes me the happiest. I don't know what that says about me, but I fucking love it. X is just a movie that really crept up. I really identified with Mia Goth and just like coming from like a Christian home in a place where like I wanted to be a star. And I liked that like idea of just being like, well, fuck it. Just be as awesome as you can be while you're on this earth. I really liked her in that movie. Pearl was like not a letdown, but definitely like slower and didn't have quite as much of like the gruesome action or as much of the really fun like sex scenes, gratuitous sex scenes.
It's also like a prequel, and it's like you could tell they kind of experimented. Like obviously, like the color palette is very rich. Yeah. It's supposed to be like a throwback.
Yeah.
So I really liked X a lot. Great cast. I think that was like when Jenna Ortega like kind of hit the scene. She did Scream, and then she did X, and then like Mia Goth is like just
X might have came out. Did X come out first?
It was right.
I would like to. Yeah, it's definitely one of her early moves.
Yeah. And people have been kind of noting that Ty West kind of has an eye for discovering. Like Mia Goth is amazing. Like she's just so like magnetic. And what I love about MaXXXine specifically is the thing you were talking about, Jacob, is the just the setting, like the seedy underbelly of 1980s Los Angeles.
Yeah.
The Night Stalker murders are happening, which is Jake, you finally watched that documentary, right?
I did, yeah.
Listen, I'm against
it was right after. It was right after that. It was right after watching that the trailer for this came out. So I was like, what the fuck? I was like, like you don't, I wasn't expecting like a real world thing to be plot point in this movie, especially a real world thing that I had just watched a documentary series about.
Yeah.
And that's why there's probably more than a few comparisons to like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because that movie is obviously similar time period, same setting, and like real world events happening.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they didn't directly tie like the Night Stalker into it's just like the background of this.
Yeah, it kind of has it. The trailer makes you think it's a main plot point. And it kind of has nothing to do with the movie. But either way, it's cool. Yeah,
I'm against serial killers. I'm not for them.
Okay.
Having said that, Night Stalkers, that is the top one. That is
He's
crazy.
terrifying.
It
Yeah.
is like that documentary on Netflix. Don't watch it alone.
Yeah.
But it's just this like mid 80s, like Jake, you called me the other night. We actually talked about this a little bit, and you were like, not to give away our business, but I think it's important to shed all of these layers.
Okay.
You said, I'm so mad that I'm not 10 years older than I am and couldn't live in LA during this time period. And I
wish I was alive. Yeah. And not even just LA, but like when I watched MaXXXine, so much of that movie, even though it's like there's horrible things happening and everybody's getting murdered, it's like everybody looks cool. Like everybody, you know, back in the 80s, everybody was exploring and their looks are all different. Everybody's weird looking, and you got like punks walking around and people with giant hair, and there's video stores, and there's like, it was like a little more normalized to be a weirdo and to walk into a sex shop or go into a fucking, everything is just weird and cool looking. And I was like watching MaXXXine being like, fuck, that would have been so much better than this. Walking around Valdosta, Georgia with a bunch of rednecks. Or like, you know what I mean? It just feels, it almost feels like, I don't know, it felt like at least in this film, when you're watching that, it just feels more accepting and more fun than whatever the fuck we're living in right now. And I'm sure there were other issues going on at the time.
Sure.
You know, there's things that were going on.
There was things happening in the world.
Serial killers,
but still, the aesthetic is so good.
Yeah.
The aesthetic is just like, I don't know. I don't like living in a world with no video stores.
That's what this all is about.
Yeah.
It's all that.
Bring them back.
It's like, I'm like, you know, Jacob, there was video stores in Valdosta back then too. It's like the Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, but they weren't good ones.
They weren't good. Well, speaking to that, Abby, I think I want you to, maybe you can expound upon this a little bit. Another thing that's normalized is like this idea that MaXXXine is like, she's like a top porn star at this point. Like the guy, like the security guard at the gates.
Everybody knows her.
Oh, I love your work.
I love that.
You know?
Yeah.
And she's trying to transition into mainstream acting, which that is something that did happen more, you know, I don't know if it happened a lot, but there were actors that got started.
Craig's got specific.
Yeah, I'm like, we can see even that it still happens. Like the crossover can happen.
The crossover can happen, but she walks into that first audition and kills it and just owns it in a way that is like, you know, we talk about when you, this is why I want you to talk about this. Let me set this up. When we talk about female empowerment and what that looks like and how important it is in the setting of a movie and like how to not do it, Avengers Endgame, right? I'm just saying.
Yeah. Avengers Endgame should have had a ceramic duck full of Coke for everyone to do.
Hey, it probably did backstage.
It did 100%.
Yeah.
Dude, yes.
But
yeah.
like this,
do you think Carol Danvers ended up with that haircut on purpose?
No, dude. She was like, "Come on, Black Widow, do it."
Yeah, just fucking do it. Just fucking do it.
Fucking
do it. Those are the lines that cut Rocket Raccoon's like, she got another Coke-infused haircut.
Man, I want to see an X-rated Guardians now.
Hey, you know who's hot? Speaking of hot, the Elizabeth Debicki, also an amazing actress. She plays the director in MaXXXine.
Yeah.
Oh hell
she's
yeah!
in Guardians.
Yeah, she's one of the gold people in
she's hot in those.
second
She's one of the
volume.
gold ones.
Yeah. She's like perfect looking. It's amazing.
So
she's in my X-Men Dreamcast
as
Jean Grey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I could see it. Yeah,
okay.
like that.
I like that a lot too. She's awesome. Abigail.
Yeah, watching a female be like awesome and strong and powerful and like stop the moment and take their power and like just tap into what they're good at, which for MaXXXine is like accessing her actual trauma and then acting it out. It's inspiring for me. Like I think it's good for humanity. It's definitely great for women to see that and to get into it and to be inspired by that, because like owning your space and like coming to the table and being like, I have a place here it's not always easy. So it's nice to have movies that you can go and see and be like, oh fuck yeah, I feel awesome today, like as a woman, because
right.
But that's not the number one thing I felt. There were lots of other feelings. Yeah.
So we don't need to do like a plot by plot, beat by beat breakdown, but a couple things I did want to highlight. There were some good kills in this movie. Let's talk about that first. So I think the truck scene, the Kevin Bacon car smash,
the crunch.
That was pretty good, pretty inventive. By the way, Kevin Bacon's having a little bit of a moment right now.
He's having fun. He's having fun. I'm glad
he's great in this movie.
I watched Kevin Bacon be a villain twice in one night. He's doing great.
Oh yeah, because he's in the new Beverly Hills Cop.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Jacob, from a horror movie perspective, did it check off all the boxes that you're looking for?
Yeah, I mean, it had like over the top characters, over the top kills, some gross stuff happening. I think his name's T.I. West, right? That's his name.
Ty,
the director, Ty West.
Yeah,
it's just Ty West. I want to see. I want them to get. I want to see them give him Texas Chainsaw and just let him make a new Texas Chainsaw movie, because I feel like those movies haven't been good in a long time. The Texas Chainsaw movies. I would also watch him direct a Friday the 13th, but we might not ever get a Friday the 13th movie again.
We're gonna have to make it.
Yeah,
nobody's gonna put it out. But I think he has the right kind of, like, his filmmaking style and how gritty these movies are. They like sort of feel like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre already. It's like he takes all the good things from like House of a Thousand Corpses. I get that, like, seedy Rob Zombie feel a little bit, but then they're also well written and funny and gross. And I feel like he would do really good with something like a Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah. I mean, and also just for like a period piece movie, it's always crazy to me how bad movies are at like depicting the year they're supposed to take place.
Yeah.
Like isn't that hard?
Well, we literally had this exact conversation whenever the last Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out, because we were talking about how good X is and how it's like it totally gets the vibe of that like 70s era perfectly, better than like most movies do, just the way it looks. And then when other movies try to do that, it looks so weird and manufactured, and it just seemed to be so natural in X.
Yeah.
Well, and that's because part of the aesthetic that makes Texas Chainsaw work is the year it's made, the clothes they're wearing, the way it's shot, the way that it's edited. I don't know. It just takes people like us to be able to point that out. Like,
I would like to point out, I feel like Ty West would be even better at taking that, because he adds an ingredient of like beauty to it and like femininity to it, which is lacking in my opinion in Texas Chainsaw. That's a very anti-woman type of thing. I don't have umbrage with it. I enjoy watching the movie. I'm not blaming it for that. I'm just saying
it's scary.
It's tough. Like, you really feel bad for the main girl the whole time. In Ty West's movies, you don't feel so bad.
She should have gone on that trip.
Well, I'd like to say that you're inspired by that main girl, and that's cool.
Dude, the fucking first Texas Chainsaw, it's hard for me to watch. And it's not like, the whole rub with that movie is like, it's not actually overly gory.
It's desolate.
It's so uncomfortable.
Oh, God.
It is so uncomfortable.
The sounds are hard to listen to.
The depravity.
And when they go to that Cracker Barrel, oh no, that's just their kitchen. Okay, well, that's what I think of Cracker Barrel.
That's what Cracker Barrel
family dinner.
Like. Yeah. Hey, if you want to see a modern remake of Texas Chainsaw, just go into the kitchen of a Cracker Barrel. Just walk into the kitchen. Leatherface works at every Cracker Barrel in the United States.
God,
Leatherface, they want their steak chopped up better. Oh,
get that bitch! Just to hear that.
Oh my God! Try the Sunday barbecue.
Giancarlo Esposito, another really nice supporting role. Wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
He's great, but kind of, it's weird to me he's in this he's in this movie for like less than a Night Stalker.
A couple minutes.
He's barely. I was so surprised they got him in this role, and then it's like, did all his stuff get cut out? Because he's kind of barely in it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have to go.
But he's great.
We don't have to go full spoiler, but like Abby, the plot does directly tie into some of the themes introduced in X.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen one. We'll get into this spoil. I've seen some reviewers complain that they find the last third act or the ending a little silly or over the top. But to me, that's almost
it is.
It is. It's supposed to be, right? Like, and I think that's the Tarantino-esque thing where it's like you're so bought in. By the last 10 minutes, it's like, well, anything can happen. This isn't, it's insane.
I mean, but the people who say the ending is silly or over time, have they seen the other two movies? Have they? Did they see Mia Goth fuck a scarecrow in Pearl and then give a 10-minute monologue? That movie's pretty silly.
Yeah, it's like it embraces that fact and it's having fun. The movie itself is having fun, and I think that's fun to watch.
Yeah. The Scarecrow for the Wizard of Oz was like, finally, we're having a little bit of fun.
Not a lot of roles for scarecrows.
Yeah, it's a good year for scarecrows.
There's basically just one.
Just the one.
And it's usually,
Well, that's something they can all look up to and look forward to.
That's funny. Are you talking about Batman?
Scarecrow? No.
There you go. So overall, I think I would give X. Still, my award is the best of the three, but I'm really looking forward to rewatching MaXXXine and kind of picking it apart a little bit more and just kind of getting lost in that world. I think he's introduced a really cool universe.
Can I give you my one complaint about it?
Well, sure. We got to do
this is my only complaint, really. I understand that MaXXXine went through a lot of crazy shit in X, and that's a reason for her to be, a hardened, looking over her shoulder type person. Mm-hmm. But she's a fucking bitch to everybody. She is mean. She's mean to her best friends in the movie, and that bothered me. Like the guy who works in the video store, who's like really kind to her.
He's great too,
and he's like, "Hey, I'm gay. I'm not trying to fuck you. We're just friends." Yeah. She is so mean to him. She is mean to everyone. And that kind of bummed me. I'm like, all right, like I want to root for her, and I do, but can we make her not be a complete asshole to every single human being she knows? That was my own.
Yeah. I understand. I'm not going to be like defending it. I suppose she could be going through a lot of stuff after the stuff that happened in X, but
sure, exactly.
She wasn't openly mean in that movie in X.
So a little bit of a character change.
Yeah.
Maybe she felt like, I know why she's like that, like at the auditions and stuff. I do love when she walks out. She's like,
well, the audition stuff is fun, but like it almost comes across as like with the guy who the video store dude, I can't remember his name. It almost feels like she's just using that guy. And I mean, she shows emotion when he dies to show that she cared for him, but she's so mean to him the whole time. I'm just like, God, she's mean to everyone.
Yep. She's mean MaXXXine.
That's
her wrestling name.
Yeah.
That's what they call her.
He was great. Shout out to that actor. I'd never really seen him in anything. His name is don't have it in front of me. Cool, Craig. You did it. You really did it. You're full of facts. Well, he was great. Also, the two FBI officers, I thought they were great. Bobby Cannavale, is that you say his name? I've seen that guy in some stuff. He's very funny. I like the whole story that he was like a failed actor. And at the end, like they walk into the scene and all the cameras are on and they cut and he's like being a cop in that little movie that's being made at the end.
Yeah, I love that part.
It was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. Abby, any other final thoughts on MaXXXine? I know we didn't go too deep,
No,
but
we don't need to go.
I bet a lot of our audience hasn't seen it. So
Yeah, sure. I would say definitely go see it. It ranks. It doesn't rank above X. That's still my favorite movie. And I think that Pearl had just a touch more like emotion that I think I enjoyed and tapped into. So I would say that MaXXine is number 3 and like of the 3 movies.
Oh, interesting.
I have a hard time. Like, I need to go back and watch it, but I was also like Jacob, sort of like wanting, I don't know. I don't know if upon rewatch, I'd like to re-examine how she treats other people because that's important. But it was hard for me to not kind of fall directly into loving the movie when the finale kind of came around, when it was like an exorcism and it's her father. And I knew it was going to be her dad the entire time.
Yeah. Abby, I thought about you. I thought about it during the movie.
That's why I might kick it up and say it's actually number 2 and put
during
Pearl
that
lower.
part, I was looking at it.
I was holding my hand and I was crying.
I literally was like, I knew it was going to be your dad. Like, it's pretty obvious. It's like,
that's the villain that they leave it on the TV when she leaves in X at the very end.
It's pretty obvious, but there was a certain point in the movie where I was just like, boy, I hope Abby's okay.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of why
it gets pretty crazy at the end.
Yeah, to be honest, that is what I remember the most, and I kind of need a second watch to like take in the beginning because that flipped a switch of like emotional connection for me. And going into it before we went into the movie theater, first of all, Craig and I got there like 25 minutes early, and it was at like a little art house theater. So we had to like sit and wait for the other movie to come out. And we were talking about the movie, and I was like, so what do we know? We know that her dad is still alive and that she's going to be out on her own. And like, that's all you have to know in order to watch the movie and understand that final act. And it gets really, you could say campy, but to me, I'm like, it just feels like it's sort of reveling in its genre a lot. Like it's like the Hollywood satanic panic type thing.
Right. That was a big part of it.
Yeah. But for me, as somebody who's experienced some of that stuff and has had a very tumultuous relationship with my father, like that stuff like got me to be like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm seeing this on screen. And then seeing her like escape and then go take him down, and then watching the emotion that she goes through between like, I don't want to kill my dad, but then she fucking does. And like, that was pretty cathartic for me to watch. I was like, that for me, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Fuck the world. Go out and do whatever you want, Abby. So yeah, that part was like healing for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad we touched on that because that's some pretty heavy stuff.
Yeah.
But it is a nice bow on the trilogy. One thing we have to talk about, the alleyway scene.
Yeah.
The alleyway scene. She's it's kind of early in the movie. She's getting cornered by one of the.
Oh my God! Yes, yeah. Because
what was the character? The Hollywood.
Buster Keaton.
Buster Keaton.
She calls him Buster.
Buster.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He's dressed like Buster Keaton.
It's like one of the guys from Hollywood Boulevard, one of the low rent character actors.
Yeah.
And she kind of corners him, and
he corners her first.
He corners her.
Right. He corners her.
Sexual misconduct. Yeah.
Right. She pulls a gun, and then Abby, what happens?
Now this is what I understood to be what happened, but my eyes were like denying the reality of it when I was watching it. I believe he's like on the ground prostrate, and she puts the gun up his asshole and then kicks it further, and like it knocks his balls out. What exactly is it that happened?
None of that happened.
Because I think I might have looked away during the pivotal part.
Did you go to the bathroom or something?
No, I watched the whole movie, but I think I couldn't. I got so grossed out by it.
She puts the gun in his mouth first.
Yeah.
She puts the gun in his mouth first. He's on his knees.
Yeah.
And then she makes him take his clothes off.
Yeah. Then she strips. Yeah.
She tells him to lay down. And then she just stomps on his balls. And they explode.
I thought I thought the gun did.
So after the movie, we're recounting. I brought this up because we're driving home, and Abby's like, "Man, I can't believe she kicked that gun up his ass and his prostate exploded." And I was like,
"What?"
That's all me.
And I was driving. Hey, I was driving. I went. Yeah. Huh? Like what?
I think I looked away at a pivotal moment because I got squeamish.
I did tell Jake about that the other day. We had a good laugh about it.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah, I'm glad we talked about it.
Good.
I bet you never thought we'd say prostate exploded multiple times on the podcast.
Well, guys, don't worry. That doesn't happen in the movie.
Yeah, that doesn't.
But what does happen is not any like. But what does happen? I mean, it's probably the grossest scene in the film. And it's
gross.
Like it's before any death happens. It's early on.
Yeah. Yep. She's got him by the balls. It's really gross.
Yeah.
It was disgusting, and I loved every second of it. Go see X. Have fun.
Yeah.
Go see Pearl.
MaXXXine.
Go see MaXXXine. I tried to correct it, but it was like, go see all of them, really.
Hey, I got one.
Yeah.
Hold on.
No,
you know what else?
Yeah.
This is an interesting thing about more low budget movies. So, Jurassic World came out, 3 movies with 3 really awful subtitles.
Yeah.
We have Ghostbusters Afterlife, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. We know that those subtitles have to be there. It's like
studio mandated.
thing.
Yeah.
The Godzilla movies are coming out. Frozen, whatever that movie was, something. And then here you have T.I. West making 3 movies that is a trilogy. Don't even have one word matching in the title.
Yeah.
X, Pearl and MaXXXine. Like it. So it's such bullshit when these fucking studios are like, movies have to have. People need to have brand recognition and know.
This is YHS, a news story.
Now, he said that this was going to be the last one, but in a recent interview, he said there's a little thread he might want to pull on for a spin-off. Any guesses? Because I don't have any.
Oh, I bet it has the director. Maybe it's a whole movie focused on the director in this movie. Maybe. She's the only
Becky.
Yeah, she's the only character that feels like a character that could carry a film.
Sure. Do you know how dumb I am? At the end when I haven't admitted this to anybody. At the end where like it says like 1 month later, MaXXXine's like she's in a movie. She's filming whatever the movie is they're doing.
Yeah.
Puritan 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a brief moment in my head, I thought she was filming Pearl. Like we were going to find out Pearl was a movie within that universe that she like.
No, it's not created. Scream, hun. It's not going to happen. We're not going to fucking do that.
It's not Stab.
Yeah.
I thought she was doing Stab.
Yeah.
So they showed her, and I looked at Abby. I went, "Whoa!" And Abby went, "Yeah." And I was like, and then I realized, I went, "Yeah, this is just cool. This is cool. This is cool what they're doing. This is a cool thing." In my head, she was like,
because her hair was different. Because her hair was different, and you just thought it was. Even though in Pearl, she's got like long black hair.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my little insight into my brain. For you. Okay, let's Jacob. I came up with a cool new idea for a very quick segue segment that I think we might get good YouTube clips out of.
Okay.
I tested it on Abby in the kitchen today.
We may need new wording, but we'll.
No. The segment's called Gun to Your Head.
Okay.
What it is, it's gun to your head, and then I ask you a question, and you just have to answer it. And it's a tough question.
Gun to your prostate. Sorry.
Ask me.
So, Jacob Walsh.
Yeah.
Gun to your head.
Uh-huh.
What is John Williams' best score?
It's Jurassic Park.
We both said the same thing.
I think it's Jurassic Park. I don't think... I think you have to kind of take your love of the movies, even though Jurassic Park is one of my favorite movies. It's not my favorite movie that John Williams has done the score to, but I'm not going to pick my favorite movie just because that's my favorite movie. Jurassic Park is his greatest score of all time, and it is there will never be a better score written than Jurassic Park.
You know what? I could take it a step further.
Yeah.
I think that the Jurassic Park suite, which is the,
that
whole number, the opening, and then it goes into the harp and all that, just the 6 or 7 minute drive. I think that is the best piece of classical music I've ever heard in my life. Like, I don't care. Like, Mozart, I'm sure you're a nice guy.
Well, I don't think it's classical just because it's
classical. Orchestral.
Greg doesn't know what classical means.
It's classical.
It's orchestral for sure.
It is. Yeah. It is my favorite piece of, music. Like,
me too.
Yep.
Every note, like, it just, and it's not even that, like, sure, you think of the movie. And by the way, the Jurassic Park theme, everybody thinks, like, but there's so many pieces to it. Like, like, it just fucking rules. And that's why I say, gun to your head, Jacob Walsh, you're right. You did it.
I am.
You did good.
We should come up with one.
That.
Like a new.
So the rules of this game is that you have to agree with the other two people when the question is asked.
No.
Yeah. Wait. You just have to answer the question.
Goal?
Yeah. You just have to answer the question.
It's like a hard question. For some people, that's a hard question.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think.
I agree. It was hard for me because I wanted to say E.T.
I mean, E.T.'s got some incredible music.
Yeah.
E.T.'s good. Yeah.
But he also did Star Wars, all of Star Wars, which if I
in Jaws.
In Jaws,
kill you.
I think if the Jurassic Park Suite's my favorite, then 2 or right behind it is the Jedi theme from Star Wars, which they haven't played in Acolyte yet.
The show that's all about Jedi.
I fucking love that show. I'm excited. Oh, we get an episode tonight, don't we?
We do.
That's really cool.
We do.
That's really neat. I'm glad. That's something to look forward to.
Okay, so. In talking about sequels, there was this article that came out, and listen, you're right. The article was not great, but this article was from the Hollywood Reporter, the best movie sequels of the past 20 years, and I thought it would be at least an interesting conversation starter to feel like, is there any in there that they blatantly missed? Are there any that we actually agree with? By the way, we're on the precipice of a big sequel that's getting very good early reactions, which is Twisters. People are saying this is the movie of the summer.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, it premiered. Have you seen any photos from the premiere?
I saw the picture of Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise was there, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Holding a bag of popcorn. Can we agree that not having a Dorothy popcorn bucket is...
What the fuck?
They really fucked up?
So dumb. They really fucked up.
I'm concerned about the movie, yeah.
So, anyways, all right.
There's some good movies on this list. I mean, it's got like Mad Max is on there, and see this was the thing.
This is the shit.
These Terrifier movies are fine. Like they're fun and they're dumb and gross and really weird, and that's great. But starting off of fucking like, here are the best sequels from the last 20 years, 15. Terrifier 2. It's like, get the fuck out of here.
Dude, this is a fucking discount clown. I will not watch this.
These movies are not bad, but they're not.
Well, is the second one better than the first one?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay.
Well, is that the only criteria we're doing?
That's the criteria.
I mean, come on. Look what it's a movie about a fucking killer clown.
It is.
Yeah. That's
all right, Abby, number 14, Deadpool 2.
That should be number 1. It should absolutely be number 1.
So you love this
That's
movie.
my favorite on this list. I'll say it. I recently rewatched it after watching Deadpool, and I fucking love Deadpool 2. It makes me cry, and then it makes me laugh, and then it makes me cry again. It meant more to me this time rewatching it because I've watched now the animated series, the old X-Men, and I've watched X-Men 97. So I just had this interest. I know who Cable is, and it's just a great goddamn movie. There's lessons to be learned. There's like it's hilarious. It's got more characters and somehow is still very successful as a sequel than the first one. And I love it.
Jacob, you once told me that Deadpool 2 was the best X-Men movie, like by far.
It is. I mean that we have so far. I mean we there's a lot of weird X-Men movies. There's like 10 of them at this point, and every one of them has like a couple things where you're like, oh, cool, they actually did this character correct. But then for every like good thing it has, there's 5 really stupid things that they do in those movies. This movie has X-Force. It's got Cable, Juggernaut, Deadpool, like Domino, like Shatterstar, all of these like weird Domino's X-Men characters that I grew up knowing who they were, and they're a fucking team. I was like, what the fuck? This is a secret X-Men movie. It's great. It is great. Everything Abby said, plus it is the first time all of these X-Men characters have like been treated properly, I think.
Yeah, it's awesome. I really liked it. I think I actually went down the rabbit hole. Getting excited for Deadpool 3, I went down that the rabbit hole. I'll just keep saying that word.
Oh, okay.
So I saw the rabbit. I was like, better go down that hole of just the history.
You're making this worse.
You know, the history of the Deadpool movies and like how after he was in the Wolverine Origins movie and that was all fucked up, and then like the studio was more than willing to make a horrible solo Deadpool movie, and then Ryan Reynolds was like, can we just do it the right way? And they were like, no. And then they leaked all that footage. Remember that?
Yeah. So they did all that. That was it.
Oh, yeah.
They shot all that stuff. Like that wasn't with studio support. They just did it.
That's why we need to do Friday the 13th and just make our own.
And leak it.
Yeah, fucking do it.
It's so good that the studios were forced to come to an agreement on the rights and give it to us. But yeah, so the Deadpool movies in general feel like a miracle. The fact that the second one is so good is just awesome. So Deadpool 3.
It's going to be even
couple
better,
weeks.
I hope.
All right.
Yeah.
Fast 5. I know you guys aren't going to speak to this.
We have limited time. Skip this one.
Dude, yeah.
It's 9 o'clock. Really. Skip this.
It's good. It's good.
Okay.
It's not.
Yeah,
it is the best.
Fast 5 is not one of the best sequels of the last 20 years.
Ever.
It's just not.
All right.
Skip.
Guardians Volume 2 is better than that.
Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
That, yes.
You agree?
I got a hankering to watch it again as I was like going through this article because it is a good plot, and it is Ed Brubaker, I believe. Yeah, he wrote some graphic novels that I enjoy and enjoyed at the time. So yeah, I liked the story, and I thought it was like a very serious, good movie that existed within the Marvel universe. That was sort of surprising, and I like it.
Huh, Jacob?
Yeah, I mean, I liked it when I saw it, and I remember thinking it was one of the better Marvel films, but I have never rewatched it. Probably, maybe once or twice since it came out.
Right.
I don't remember anything about it. I don't think
it's good.
would. Yeah.
I think
it probably just wouldn't
is,
be on my list, but mainly because I don't remember any.
Right.
There's too many Marvel. I don't want. There's too many Marvel movies. I don't get them out. Get them off the lists.
Okay.
I know. Listen, I know we just talked up Deadpool, but Deadpool's in a pool, and it's like in a thing of its own.
Yeah, dude.
Deadpool's in a pool of his own.
It's an R-rated movie.
It's in a thing of its own. You can't count when you got 30 Marvel movies. You can't count them all as sequels to each other.
Okay.
You just can't.
I will say this. I'll say this.
Yeah, I guess you.
When you compare it to like Iron Man 2 and Thor 2, like it is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But I get it. There's a lot of Marvel movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which brings us to Logan.
More Marvel movies.
John Wick Chapter 4.
Oh,
okay.
Hey, I haven't even seen this.
Yeah.
I like the John Wick movies. All right, we'll skip it. Tell us if it's good in the comments.
Sure, yeah. Do you love it? Let us know.
Number 10, Logan.
Yeah.
All right. It's like
Jacob's favorite movie.
It's great. It's great,
so
but
good.
it's like it's great, but like it's like what is this a sequel to? The 10 other X-Men movies or the last Wolverine? It's like it's kind of its own thing too. I know. It's like characters that have been set up in all these other movies, but it's like it's not fair to call it a sequel when it's like a whole new crew of people.
Right.
It's just
It's a standalone.
It's not really a direct sequel to any. It's a direct sequel to what? It's like, I don't know. Whatever.
It's a direct sequel to the fact that there were X-Men movies.
It's great though. It is a good movie.
Yeah.
Having said that, it is really good.
Yeah, it's a great movie, but I've never thought of it as a sequel.
Yeah. Okay.
It's very much
see, look,
standalone.
we're all agreeing on everything. We need some arguing. Mission Impossible Fallout. Never saw it. I stopped.
Never seen any of those.
Nope. Don't
Not
want
for
to.
me.
Not for you.
Mm-mm.
I saw the first like 4 Mission Impossibles.
What part is Fallout?
Like 7. There's so many.
Yeah, I feel like there's somebody was trading money to get this on the list. There's something going on.
Part 7.
I don't fucking know this movie.
No shade to the MI fans or Limp Bizkit.
I remember that. Yeah, when they did the fucking song when I was in high school.
Yeah.
All right, keep going.
Happy what was that?
I'm trying to remember the song.
It goes.
It's the Mission Impossible thing, but with Limp Bizkit yelling over it.
Yeah.
It's my way or the highway. Is that a different song? That's a different Limp Bizkit song.
Same album, though, I think.
God, I need to go back. Remember. Yeah.
You're right. This article does kind of suck. Spider-Man 2. Hey, this is a great sequel.
I understand this one.
This is 2004
in the movie theater.
Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire.
That's the best Spider-Man movie in existence, and I don't care what Ryan Dole or John Urqueva say.
Yeah.
It just is. It's the best Spider-Man
It's great.
movie.
It is great.
It's great. We have it on tape. Enjoy it.
Why are you bragging so much?
It's like I just have to confirm that everyone knows that. I do like
watching it tonight.
We're watching it.
All right. Spider-Man 2 is great. I would love seeing Tobey come back for No Way Home because Spider-Man 3, not as good. Let's face it. Although I defended it so hard when it came out.
Yeah. It's not as good.
Jake, do you remember when PS3 first came out? Like, it came with a Blu-ray copy of Spider-Man 3, and it was like the first Blu-ray player I had, and I watched it every day. Anybody who would come to my house was like, check out how good Blu-ray looks. You really feel like Spider-Man's in here with us.
It looks the same as DVD.
Hey, you really thought that was Spider-Man, didn't you? Just an actor on the TV. Then my house was broken into, and they stole my PlayStation.
And then we met. Everything got better.
The DVD was in it, so I just had the empty case to Spider-Man 3.
Do you still have it?
Oh,
no.
Yeah.
Long gone. All right, moving on. Number 7, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Hey, which one is this? It's the second one?
I mean, I'm assuming.
I don't even know, dude.
Scroll down and read the article where the words.
Well, the first one is. Wait. Yeah, this is the second one. The first one's the one I like a lot with John Lithgow.
I think they're all
James
good. I haven't seen the new one, but I think they're all pretty good.
I don't know why this is on the list. Come on.
Because they decided to make a list of 20 movies and then had to fucking fill it up with. They're like, oh, let's put another Marvel movie on there. I got more numbers I need.
Like, is this based on highest grossing?
I mean, because honestly, like, usually sequels are not.
This one is bullshit.
Are not good.
Number 6, Avatar: Way of the Water.
Come on, it's got to be better than the first one, right? There's no way it's not better than the first one.
It's so hard for me to
look at this screenshot. It must be Blu-ray. It looks so real.
Wow.
I've not seen this movie. There's not a chance in hell I ever will. I can't imagine a set of circumstances that.
No, dude, we're gonna all watch it on an airplane one day.
Hey, that might be fun on the way to Japan. Let's fucking watch it.
All right.
Podcast.
We'll do it. That's an episode.
It's hour 9 of the 13-hour flight. I look over at Jake in the middle seat and I go, it's time for Avatar: Way of the Water.
Jake's got like a big tail.
I am Avatar now. Okay. Ooh, number 5, Dr. Sleep. Now, which Marvel movie is this?
Shh, this is a valid one. This is very valid.
Yeah. I'm surprised this is on here.
This deserves to be on the list for sure.
I'd put this probably number 2 after Deadpool 2.
The reason I found this article is because Mike Flanagan tweeted that he was so grateful to be included on this list. Dr. Sleep, obviously, the follow-up to The Shining. Mm-hmm. On paper, that doesn't sound like it would be very good. No, this movie's pretty damn
great.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie's great.
Yeah. Should we all rewatch this after Avatar?
Yeah, I need a palate cleanser. I need something interesting.
Anything else on this?
I just love Dr. Sleep.
No, it's
book was really important
movie.
to me.
She's great.
Yeah.
She's great. This one I took umbrage with, Across the Spider-Verse. Because I liked it, but
it's not as good as the first one.
I didn't like it.
Oh, did you watch it, Jake?
I watched it on I'm pretty sure I watched it on an airplane.
Yeah.
It's just not as good as the first one.
It's not as good as the first. It's good, but it's not as good as the first one. Yeah.
And I think that to make this list, you should almost be as good or better than the original.
Yeah, that's the thing that's supposed to be surprising is that they stand out as being better.
Right.
Not just this is a sequel that made money. Seems to be the
Creed,
only criteria.
2015.
That's a good movie.
It's a sequel to the band Creed.
No.
Never seen this.
Jacob, I know Rocky is not your.
Yeah. It's just I didn't like
movies.
Yeah, I didn't like Rocky that much, and I haven't watched all of the other Rockies, so I'm not going to watch Creed without seeing. Right. Even though I know you don't need to, I'm not going to do that.
This is a little bit cheating. Like, it's technically a sequel to the Rocky series, but it's, I get it. I get what they're saying. But Abby, I like these movies.
Yeah, I do too. I really I fell in love with Rocky and Sylvester Stallone those movies, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago when we were talking about them on the podcast. So that's out there somewhere. You can go listen to it. But yeah, Creed is I think it was a great movie. I love Michael B. Jordan, and it was a really nice refresher. I would agree with that being on this list if you're considering that like a sequel to Rocky.
Right. Number 2, The Dark Knight. Unapologetically, I love the Christopher Nolan Batman movies. I think The Dark Knight is great. I know it's overhyped. I know that we lived through a time where, I mean, Jacob, you remember that year at Dragon Con? Well, it was like 5 years where everybody was the Joker.
Yeah.
Like it was too much. But I legitimately think this is a great movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie, and I'm okay with it being on the list. Not at number 2. I do think it's like it has like an overinflated importance thrust upon it, and people give it more credit because of the sad circumstances of Heath Ledger. But it is a good movie, and I do think it's the best of those 3. But number 2 maybe not, but it's good on the list.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then number 1 on the Hollywood Reporter's top sequels of the last 20 years, Mad Max: Fury Road.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
You guys love this movie.
Let them have it.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
I like
4 times in the movie theater.
You saw it 4 times?
Then bought it the day it came out. Yeah.
You didn't see Furiosa yet.
Yeah, I still haven't. Well, I want to. Maybe tonight. We'll see.
This movie's great.
Yeah.
No, I love this
great movie.
It's great.
All right. Well, that was the list. That all gets us to our next segment, which is our final segment called Gun to Your Head. Just kidding. We already did that. What did they miss? Is there any sequels that were not on here in the last 20 years that we felt deserving? I mean, I can think of one specifically.
I mean, we just get it out of the way. Ghostbusters Afterlife is not on there.
I think Ghostbusters Afterlife should be on this list.
Yeah, that should have been on the list.
That is a great movie, and it legitimately, pushes the franchise forward, and it did. We don't have to talk about it. It did a lot of things that others
should we give our opinions about Ghostbusters Afterlife?
Yeah.
Finally,
it should be on there.
Did you come up with any others, Jacob?
Well, I think I think you have to wipe from your mind how you feel about certain Star Wars things right now.
Okay.
Force Awakens 100% deserves to be on there, because if you think about when Force Awakens came out, I know that trilogy did not end well, but Force Awakens is like, that's a perfect movie, and it nailed Star Wars, and it nailed like bringing the old stuff in with the new stuff, bringing back the things you like in a pretty tasteful way for most of it. I think Force Awakens is great, and it's one of the best Star Wars movies. Yeah. And I think that movie alone deserves to be on this list.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that.
Jackass 2. Just saying. Very funny. There's the first one. Did you come up with any other ones, Ab?
And I don't think any others that haven't been mentioned. I already mentioned Guardians Volume 2 being a great sequel. I guess I'm surprised that The Godfather 2 wasn't on the list, because that's been on it for
20 years
and years.
Last 20 years.
Oh, 20 years. Sorry. Heard that. Okay. Gotcha.
There's a movie that I have not seen, but I'm surprised it's not on the list because everybody says it's great, including Jason Reitman. Blade Runner.
Oh,
people talk a lot about Blade Runner, and
I
feel bad for not seeing it yet, but I'm surprised that wasn't on the list.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet that's on a lot of lists. I know this goes against some of the stuff we were talking about earlier. I think Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame, if we're just talking about sequels, are very great movies. And a lot of times when there's sequels, a lot of sequels are just attached to franchises anyway. So it's like, I was like horror sequels over the last 20 years. Not, I don't know. Scream. Scream 4, 5, 6? Not so much.
The first Omen was great.
First Omen was great.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it's a prequel. 20 greatest prequel.
Yeah.
Hey, should we do that episode? The 10 great prequels of all time.
We should.
Pearl.
Maybe we'll make it 5.
Yeah.
5 greatest prequels.
3 4 Star Wars movies. Abigail, any final
Attack
thoughts?
of the Clones. No, Gremlins 2, but that is beyond the time limit.
That is true.
So I can't say that.
Yeah, I mean, greatest sequels of all time. We're talking Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, Terminator 2. Like, that's a whole other discussion.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, this was fun. I thought we covered some ground.
Mm-hmm.
I love talking about MaXXXine.
Me too.
We got to get Mia Goth on this goddamn podcast.
Oh, yeah. No reason why she wouldn't do it.
I don't know if she's ever done a.
I don't know if Shia would let her. He seems pretty.
I don't think so.
Abusive and
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah. Oh.
On that note.
On that note, we forgot about.
Let's go do another
Crystal
podcast.
Skull. All right, everybody.
Even Steven's podcast now.
Thank you for joining. We appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you are following us on all of our social media channels. And stay tuned for all of our coverage from San Diego Comic-Con.
Yep.
Bye.
We're getting breakfast.